you're doing?
Looking at this new podcaster on my iPhone. He looks pretty good.
Give me that.
No skin, no fun.
So let's just see what this is all about, huh? Another Power Ranger podcast. Let's see. It's always about the Power Rangers. Never about the villains.
Yeah, what's good with y'all, man? You already know what it is. It's the one and only one, FleeboyJetson. And if you're tuning in for the first time, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any interviews or discussions from your favorite heroes and villains from across the Morphin Grid. I was about to say the multiverse for a second. But big shout out to everybody. This is our second episode of the Power Rangers podcast. And we got some special guests with us today. Let me give a shout out to our co-host, Shinosuke. Let them know where they can find you at on social media.
All right. You can find me on TikTok at Shinosuke, JayShinoske.
And today, man, our special guest has been covering Power Rangers Prime, VR Troopers, Captain Planet, does all types of content when it comes to comic books and everything nerdy, man. This is my guy, B. Make sure you show some love. B, let them know where they can follow you at.
You can find me on Instagram at Bernard_Scudder. That is SCUDDER. And you can also find me on TikTok. My handle is Did I Scudder? So DIDISCUDDER. And
all links will be provided for you in the description below. I'm definitely going to put them in there after the episode. So if you want to follow up, man, please go ahead and do so. And shout out to everybody that was on Twitch watching. I should have did the show on Twitch because we had a lot of y'all in there. And I seen the trolls, man. Hey, Unc, you on the wrong app. I seen y'all, man. He said, somebody said, ain't this supposed to be Friday? But it's Wednesday. Yeah, I do apologize. We are switching the dates of the podcast. It went from Monday to Wednesday and Friday, but we're trying to also accommodate our guests as well. But I think we're going to go after this Monday's episode. I think it's going to be every Wednesday or Thursday. And I wanted to lock in those dates because I want this podcast to air after the reboot show actually comes out. So, I want to start it off and let it lead up to the reboot. But today's episode, we will be talking about Power Rangers Prime, the comic book. We also have a Megazord to give away. We also have an interview from Catherine Sutherland. We also have news, up-to-date interview that I did today with Jason Front and Young Sage. We're going to get into all of that. But first, did y'all check out Power Rangers Prime, issue 11? My God, B, show them again one more time for those who've seen it. My God. Hey, if y'all haven't been reading Power Rangers Prime, I want to give B a huge shout out, right? Because I give people shout outs when they really put me on to stuff I truly enjoy and love, right? Like big shout out to my guy Cross. He put me on to Solo Leveling. Fell in love with it even before the anime even came out. And then when the anime came out, I was like, man, I wish I didn't read the manga. But it was already too late and I was already, But B put me on the Power Rangers Prime. I seen him talking about it early on in the issue 2. So I was with him for the reveal. Spoiler alert, we'll be talking spoilers. So if you haven't read too much, man, I suggest you run out the chat. This is going to be a salty one for Shinosuke because he's only on issue 4. He just got volume 1.
The first little volume, so, yeah, I got to catch up, but I don't care. Okay, I'm still going to go back and read it.
It's going to be pretty dope for you because we're going to get into the 6th Ranger for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to get into that. So B, kick us off, man. Let us know a little bit about this new team led by Lauren Sheba, which was a surprise to me, which is actually phenomenal in a way. I'm not even going to go there yet. But put us on a little about this comic book and the new Rangers.
Of course. So Power Rangers Prime is set in a brand new continuity. Think something similar to the Ultimate Universe or Absolute Universe, but with Power Rangers. So there are a lot of familiar faces that we all know and love from the franchise who show up in various different ways. And in terms of the new cast of Rangers, our Red Ranger is Lauren Shiba, the formerly Red Samurai Ranger. We have Orion from Megaforce who comes back and he's a Pink Ranger. And we also have three new characters. We have Valentina, she is our Yellow Ranger. We have Marcon, Mark, he is half Aquatarian and half human. He is our Blue Ranger. And we also have June, who is an Altarian, and he is our Black Ranger in Power Rangers Prime.
Hey, what a phenomenal team to put together, right? And you talk about diversity. It don't get more diverse than this cast right here. And
yeah.
I think everybody will be satisfied now. Throughout the series, they're getting hunted by a special group. Let us know who the group is.
So, in fact, I'll show you guys. So, the special group that the Rangers are in fact being hunted by are the VR Troopers, my friends. So that is Kyle, that is Caitlin, and JB. So the VR Troopers. The VR Troopers have officially crossed over into the realm of Power Rangers.
And I think that's so phenomenal. When I first seen that, it intrigued me. And I think that was the first time I was introduced to you when you was talking about the VR Troopers being introduced. And I was like, wait, they actually doing a crossover like that? So my whole childhood just crashed in on me like, hey, man, I got to check this out. This is a must read for me. This is something I couldn't give up. I picked it up, and, man, I've been obsessed with collecting the variant covers that got the different Ranger teams on it and stuff like that because I think those are pretty cool. But also, the artwork. Let's talk about the artist.
Yeah, so Michael YG, I mean, he does such a fantastic job at just encapsulating not only the emotion, tone, but just action and just the visuals of Power Rangers Prime are so breathtaking. I mean, this latest issue, the last few pages kind of had me at the edge of my seat, and that's in part to the art. So Michael YG really just does a fantastic job at really bringing the words to life, and the character expressions are so clear and so vivid. Like, you really know what each and every character is feeling as you're going through each and every panel, and the action as well. It's so dynamic. Man, there are so many panels in Power Rangers Prime that I've looked at and I've gone, okay, this is one of my favorite splash pages of 2025. This is one of my favorite panels of 2025. So incredibly captivating art. Michael YG is knocking that out of the park.
Yeah, let's talk a little about, oh, look at that art right there. We're going to get to the suits too, right? Because I want to get to the suits, but I also want to get to the storyboard. My God, that is so good. That is so good.
Oh, nice. Where'd you get that?
One of my favorite covers.
Yeah. Like, just surprised. Like, okay, so can you, before we go any further than this, like, as I read the first 4 issues, and I love the fact that the VR Troopers, like, again, as Flea said, it's like crashing your 2 childhood, like, favorites into one thing. So in this Earth, basically Earth is kind of colonized or dominated by the Eltarians, right?
Yes.
And so Power Rangers are hunted down. They're not allowed, they're trying to make sure that they eliminate all threats of that. How do VR Troopers, how are they sanctioned in a world that is basically led by the Eltarians? Do they explain that?
So in the VR Troopers miniseries, it's pretty much alluded to that. So when it comes to the VR Troopers, they hold a very unique position because they are working for the Eltarians, and like we learned in the VR Troopers comics and within Power Rangers Prime, they're hunting mutants and fugitives and whatever elsewhere. But what you find out in the VR Troopers comic book series is that basically Ryan Steele's dad and Professor Hart See, and just the concept of virtual reality and this alternate reality, it's something that's being explored. And they've kind of are the first ones in the world of Power Rangers Prime and VR Troopers to explore this alternate reality, which opens up, the threat of Grimlord, who's Carl Zichter, who's trying to, bring in his army and whatnot. So that's really kind of what we learned in VR Troopers. I just got to issue 3. It's the one that recently came out, and they're still unfolding and revealing the kind of deeper ties that the VR Troopers have. But essentially, the VR Troopers and their virtualizers, that was all Ryan's dad and Professor Hart who kind of started experimenting with alternate realities and stuff. Because if there's one thing that VR Troopers confirms, and this is in the first issue, it's that a multiverse exists. Is that there is a multiverse, there are alternate realities and dimensions and whatnot. And will that come into play in terms of the Power Rangers? I mean, they revealed Grimlord. I don't know if y'all remember Grimlord from the Big Bad from the TV show. They revealed him in the comics. And so, in my head, I'm like, okay, so the big crossover, the big event is gonna be, the Scugs and Grimlord's army from VR coming over into reality, fighting the Eltarians, the Rangers, and the VR Troopers. But at this point, who knows where the story could go?
And Melissa is doing a great job at putting all of that together. You got a chance to check her out at New York Comic Con. Did you ask her any questions?
Yeah, I did. So I got to speak to Melissa Flores, the writer of Power Rangers Prime. She actually signed my first issue. And we had a fantastic conversation. First of all, she was so kind and generous, and she thanked me because she had seen some of my videos and we've interacted. And she was just like, "Thank you for just getting the word out about Power Rangers Prime." But yeah, she really emphasized like the importance of making Power Rangers Prime timely, because and I'm sure Jay, reading this, you can see how relevant a lot of the themes are, especially when it comes to ideas of like authoritarianism, censorship. You can't speak out against the Eltarians because you can get got. Lauren Sheba and the Power Rangers being fugitives who are actively being hunted, and they have to hide who they are and hide and live amongst the people incognito. So she really spoke about the timeliness of it all, as well as just kind of several. What did she say? Oh, she was telling me essentially just like how much work has kind of gone into Power Rangers Prime, especially because like comic book writers, they have to write these scripts and things in advance. And I did ask her, and this we're going into spoiler territory for you, Jay, but I did ask her about the Sixth Ranger. Spoiler alert, I'm going to throw it out there, but the Sixth Ranger of Power Rangers Prime is the Rita Repulsa.
Which honestly, no, that makes sense. Honestly, if you're reading the first 4 issues, she's the one giving everyone powers to begin with. So why would she not bestow something on herself? Yeah, so it makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And well, what's so interesting about that is, because I said to her, I said, hey, so, does Prime have any connection to the previous continuity, because she wrote Darkest Hour? And she kind of confirmed and didn't confirm. Because I told her, I was like, the way I saw it is at the end of Darkest Hour, Billy shatters the Morphin Grid to stop Dark Spectre's infection from spreading throughout time and space and corrupting everything. And so I was like, so is Prime, the result of the Morphin Grid cracking? And she was like, that was like the idea of Prime but they're moving in a different direction in terms of that story. So that relevance to that, that's something that if you're looking at the deeper clues and piecing it together, then you're like, oh, okay, this is connected. Because even Rita Repulsa's arc, and this is why for me, Rita Repulsa is one of my favorite, actually currently right now is my favorite Power Ranger. Because I just think her arc that she's had from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Go-Go Power Rangers, into Darkest Hour and becoming Mistress Vile, to then Power Rangers Prime, where she's now teaching or mentoring young Power Rangers, but also learning that she has agency and that she can claim the power for herself to become something more than a force of evil or what was intended for her. Cause another quick thing. I'm sorry, I'm going all into the lore. In Power
Nah, go
Rangers,
ahead.
yeah,
That's what we here for. We here to have this conversation, this dialogue about prom.
yeah. In the Power Rangers comics, let me actually I'll pull it up for you guys here. In Power Rangers Edge of Darkness, this is going back. This is from Power Rangers. This was a one shot, Power Rangers Unlimited, and it's actually has to do with the Phantom Ranger as well. But you basically find out that Master Vile basically and Rita as a child, they wanted to use Rita's body. Master Vile basically had Rita's body to use as a conduit for Dark Spectre to come into the world. He literally sacrificed had his daughter as a sacrifice to have Dark Spectre come as a conduit into the world. And because she was touched by Morphin Grid energy, she was deemed impure. So that's why her father hates her in the comic books. So Rita has a whole.
Didn't she off him for that?
Yeah. Yeah.
She offed her pops for that, right? I read that issue, I think.
It's Alpha One, I think, who stabs Master Vile. I believe so. I may have don't fully quote me on that. I may have to double check.
Hey, but that was a good story. Continue though. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. Her just the trajectory of the arc and what she's gone through. I love it, and I love her story, and I love stories like that. Even Ranger Slayer, Kimberly Hart. That's my second favorite Power Ranger, y'all. Because and I'm gonna say this right now, Ranger Slayer Kimberly Hart has some of the best feats in the Power Rangers franchise. She took on 5 corrupted emissaries. So in the comic books, if y'all don't know, the original Squadron Rangers, the first team of Power Rangers, they basically become emissaries. They become deities of the grid. Ranger Slayer Kimberly Hart from World of the Coinless. This was Lord Draken's Kimberly Hart, who he brainwashed, who became the Ranger Slayer that was going after the Rangers and whatnot. During Darkest Hour, she went into the grid and she fought the green one who was corrupted by Dark Spectre, the blue one who was corrupted by Dark Spectre, the black one, and she killed the pink one. And then the Morphin Masters themselves offered Ranger Slayer Kimberly Hart sanctuary within the grid because they were hiding. They were hiding from Dark Spectre, and she was like, nah. She walked off.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty cold. Jay, was you gonna say something? I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I hear you perfectly now.
Oh yeah, now we hear it.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. No, I didn't say anything. I was just really, honestly, just kind of fanning out on that. I was looking at the Shattered Grid, and I was like, oh, is that part of that? But I think that's further than that. I'm still in the process of catching up. So I've kind of read one-offs. I also read Amy Jo Johnson's The Return. That was
The Return is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well,
and I thought huh?
No, well, I was gonna say in terms of reading the stories, it's Shattered Grid, Beyond the Grid, Necessary Evil, going admittedly there is a lot to catch up on, but it's good. Oh, I can't wait till you get to the Altarian War. That is great.
Is that in Go-Go Power Rangers? Is it in Power? I have the year 1 and year 2 collections. For some, I do have, I said, some one-off ones with the Return and, of course, Soul of the Dragon, that kind of stuff. But yeah, where would you recommend I should start if I were to go?
So I would definitely. Oh man, after this, I will send you something as well.
Oh, you sent it to me also. That little grid.
Yeah. There's a grid there's an actual grid that Boom Studios released, which is a really good kind of piece by piece where to go with all the arcs, and I have another thing. Oh my gosh, I have another grid thing that tells the specifics of all the comics and where to go. But what was I gonna say? In terms of the Eltarian War and whatnot, at some point, this, I will say, admittedly, this is an 8-year run of Mighty Morphin. So for me, my journey in reading them, I kind of bought all the big books and fast tracked, and then I started collecting the single trades right when Power Rangers hit 100, and Melissa Flores came on to like right Darkest Hour. So I was playing catch up and catch up and catch up, and then I finally caught up. But at some point, like during the Eltarian War, they split the stories into Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. So do you know about the Omega Rangers, Jay?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers, when they did the split, they essentially had a run that was what the Omega Rangers were doing in space, and then you had a run which was Power Rangers, which is what the Power Rangers were doing on Earth. So I'll show you an example. I just have all the books accessible here. So this is Power Rangers, and then this is Mighty Morphin, and then this is Power Rangers. So Mighty Morphin was what the Earth team was doing, while all the Eltarian stuff was going on. And then they had Matt Cook on the team, who was the second Green Ranger. And then Power Rangers followed Zach, Trini, Yale, who's like this big cat that become the Blue Ranger. And Jason and Lord Draken. And this AI that was a part of the team, this robot that was assisting them, that was basically the Omega Rangers version of Alpha. So yeah, there's a lot. And funnily enough, in the Eltarian War, we learned the origins of Lord Zed. You learned.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I gotta catch up too, man. Like.
Oh yeah. Well, you basically learn. So check this out, y'all. This is something crazy for y'all, and for those in the chat who haven't touched the comic books and whatnot. You basically learned that Lord Zed was an Eltarian, but he was set up by one of Zordon's buddies, Zofran, and he touched a Zeo crystal. But there was a spell on it or an enchantment or something, and when he touched the Zeo crystal, it shocked him and flayed all his skin off. So that's why Lord Zed is exposed muscle and flesh. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I love the fact that they also so there's more lore with the Zeo crystals themselves, because I just feel like from the TV show perspective, like there's so much unexplored with that, and I just refuse to believe that Turbo is greater than Zeo in terms of power source. Like, Kat, she falls in water mid-morph, and then that's the last we see of that. And I'm just like, water is not taking out the power of the Zeo crystal. Like, what is going on?
What is that?
It's funny you say that, because I just posted something recently to that, and I was like, POV, it's like the Zeo powers aren't water resistant. And people are like, oh, it was the impact damage. And it's like, yes, I know there's impact. I know, but also the moment she hit she should have instantly transformed. All right, she would have instantly transformed before she touched the water. That it's just, there have been, and unfortunately,
kind of
over.
That's not really how that happens. Yeah.
No, it would have been an instant transformation, and she would have broken into the water. But that's the unfortunate thing, about Power Rangers, and a lot of the time. Yeah, a lot of the time when things were written, they would just write some things like, it's like the famous "too much pink power is dangerous."
I know, too much pink energy. Yeah.
Too much pink energy is dangerous. We don't really get an explanation as to why Zordon said that. It's more of an expletive, and it's like, oh, okay, so we'll just take the face value for it. And that's why I appreciate the comics, because what the comics do, I truly feel like the comics give you all the words to articulate ideas that were presented in the show. And the comics fully goes in depth and articulates all of that in a way where it's like, oh, so that's how the Morphin Grid works. Or, oh, so this is how, like, the most genius thing that they ever did in the comics to me, and Necessary Evils, one of my favorite arcs, it's because it's the introduction of the Omega Rangers. Um, and, I love the Boom Studios iterations of some of the OG characters. My favorite Red Ranger is the Boom Studios version of Jason Lee Scott because I feel like the depth, character building, and just his position as a leader, even in Shattered Grid, when they're at the end, and let me pull up the page. I have to. When they're at the end of Shattered Grid, and he has all the Rangers assembled, and he basically gives his like big Captain America speech, and it's absolutely incredible. And he really just I feel like exemplifies what it means to be a ranger, and I feel like what the comics do, especially writers like Kyle Higgins, Melissa Flores, Ryan Parrott, who have really taken these characters that we know and love, and they said, you know what? Sometimes the TV show didn't give you guys what you needed, and let us do that. And it's such a beautiful thing, especially for the fans. Like, look at this. This is marvelous.
Oh, that is
This is that
actually
Jason right
fire.
there. Yeah, he's giving this huge speech. They're all getting ready to face off against Lord Draken, and like it's so incredible. It's so incredible.
Actually recently caught up. Like, of course I haven't read it, but I did watch like a YouTube summary of the Death Ranger arc.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so then I did see something that, like, interesting about Jason with that, just because, I guess he has this really strong relationship with his mother, and then they incorporated,
Yeah,
the loss of his mother in that, and I was
yeah,
like, wow, I've never, just to see that. We've only had a couple of times in Power Rangers history where we actually see, people dealing with actual loss and death.
Hmm.
And to see that like fleshed out with Jason as a character, I didn't, you don't really think about the parents of the Power Rangers because they're just kind of like almost non-existent throughout most of the '90s show. So
It's true.
I was very
Ooh,
impressed with what I saw from that. Yeah.
that's a good question, right? Leading off to our next segment. I hate to pivot from the comic books, but we only got beef for a short amount of time, y'all.
Yeah.
Um, I do want to talk about the new reboot that's coming in January 2026. They're going to start filming in London, which is already crazy in itself because it's always been in New Zealand or something like that, or
Hmm.
Australia. So it's kind of crazy that we're getting one filmed in London, which makes me feel like this is going to be a bigger budget show, for one. For
Oh
two,
yeah.
I feel like this might be the one people want. A little maturity. I don't think this is gonna go too mature. But when you said mother, my question to you is, right? I got a two-part question. Actually, this is like five in one. One is, right? Do you think we'll get to see the actual parents this time in this show and them dealing with actual real life teenage problems like bullying or maybe abusive pops or a neglectful mother or something like that? I'm not sure how to word it, but do you think we'll see that? And if so, what do you think the key ingredients will be for this show to not only be successful but to bring in the core audience again and also attract new audience?
All right. So first, I'm gonna address that part of the question. What they need to do is not touch Mighty Morphin or those designs at all. They need to learn from what they did with the 2017 film. Love the 2017 film, right? Cool Ranger suits, bad Mighty Morphin designs. And when you mess with iconography, such as the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, uh, and alter it in ways that to the fandom kind of skew what the view is, that already is alienating so much of the fandom. Because I know so many people who didn't even give the 2017 movie a shot based upon they saw those suits and they said, Mighty Morphin? Nah. So that's one of the first thing. I think the approach shouldn't be Mighty Morphin, and if it is, at least have them closer to the iconic designs. But I definitely think I think they well, here's the thing. I've seen the Percy Jackson series, and the showrunners, I think they did a really fantastic job at the character relationships. And I feel like what makes Power Rangers successful, right, is having fun characters, quirky monsters, and cool action. And I think, unfortunately, and this is part of the reason why I think the 2017 movie fails. And again, I love the 2017 movie, but it was so character driven that the last act was when we got the Rangers. And we only get the Rangers for like a good 10 or 15 minutes. They would have thrown in a civilian fight, an extra Ranger fight, even, would have enhanced the experience so much better. So I think what this new series needs to thrive is having the right blend of action, not making us wait like 3 or 4 episodes until they morph, and doing, what the long series format is now when it comes to superheroes and things, having us wait. It's like, no, it's Power Rangers. First and foremost, what we at least, if not a full morph at the end of the first episode, at least a character morphing or a tease, or starting off the second episode with a conflict. So I feel like the reboot needs the balance of having great action, having a nice blend of them in the suits, but also giving us characters that are digestible and not spending too much time building the characters and too much time establishing this world. And as far as parents, I think we have seen some really interesting relationships when it comes to parents in Power Rangers and in Power Rangers media across the board. I mean, Time Force is a great example. Wes and his relationship with his dad and the arc of that. Looking at shows like Mystic Force, even, Udana and Korag being, and Liambo being, Nick's father, and the revelation of that. So I think Power Rangers I think there is a potential to really hone in on the vital role that parents can play, but also I'm totally cool with if, the parents are in 1 or 2 scenes every now and then to, check on the kids and whatnot, but we don't see from the parents that much. But I think there should be an acknowledgement of the parental guidance for these kids, especially, knowing the showrunners and their previous work just in general when it comes to showing characters, their relationships, how they interact with the world around them. So I think it couldn't hurt. I think it couldn't hurt, but it needs a nice balance of action, the suits being shown, as well as drama and character work, but not character work that is like I said, like we're on episode 5 and we're like, yo, what's going on? Where are the suits? Where are the suits at? Why are we on episode 5 and nobody's morphed yet?
I do agree with that. And I think, one of the things that's going to hit the hardest, right, is when people see the monsters, because we're so curious, because they're not going the Super Sentai route anymore. They're done with that. So we're not going to see, the rubber suits and, men dressed in Zords and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That era of Power Rangers, at least for the Western culture, is over with. Which is, I don't know how people are going to adjust to that, because you know what I'm saying? That's going to be a huge adjustment. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, sorry. You were saying, Fleboy.
No, I'm just saying because I'm nervous for it. I'm completely nervous, even though I got faith in these 2 gentlemen, because they done a lot of stuff that they done Jericho, which is, drama made and things like that. They also did Percy Jackson. They handled the kids well in that and the drama as well. Also incorporating the fights and the monsters. So I'm wondering if our monsters are going to look like the Percy Jackson monsters. And if so, I'm all for it. That's 1. 2, I've always been a mech guy. Gundam, even Ronin Warriors to an extent, because it looked like they was in like little suits and stuff like that. And, so I think what attracted me to Power Rangers in the beginning was the robots. I was like, oh my God, big robots and kaijus, like Godzillas and stuff like that. I was always hyped about stuff like that. So I think the Zords are really going to be impactful, because I don't know if y'all seen the new trailer for Armor Wars. What is
Force?
it?
Armosaurus.
Armosaurus. I have
I
a
think it
couple of
premiered, didn't it?
yeah, I have a couple of mixed feelings about that. Right, I love the way the dinosaurs look with the armor on. Right, but I don't like the pilots of them. Like I think they're like CGI is well off, and I hope that's not what we get from Power Rangers. I hope the budget is a lot better. I hope the Zords look identical somewhat, because then that'd be dope. So I think that's my main picks. Like, because the only problems I had with the 2017 was the Megazord. I hated the way the Megazord looked. And Alpha. I could not stand to see Alpha on screen. It was horrible. It wasn't the person voicing him. It wasn't the voice. It was the design was just so disgusting. The suits work for me.
And that's so valid. And honestly, and I say this in all my commentary and all my videos on the 2017 and talking about, because I am the 2017 Power Rangers defender, for y'all who don't know. But I completely sympathize, empathize, and understand why so many of the fans were turned off to the movie. And I can't even fault them, because I completely understand the train of thought. And I think, and I always say this, I think, they needed to be an original team. I cannot stress enough that I truly think the movie would have been even more successful if they were an original Ranger team.
And I'm not gonna lie, what Daniel said from Nerda Legacy is absolutely right. They really dropped the ball with that team that they had, because now we'll never get them for another Power Rangers project, because they blew up. Like they are, each and every one of them are huge now.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Naomi Scott is the star of Smile too, and that, I mean, her performance in that was incredible. Dacker Montgomery is going on to do so many brilliant things. R.J. Seiler is out here, just acting from everything from The Harder They Fall to, whatever it may be. Becky G's doing music. Ludi Lin is about to be Liu Kang again in Mortal Kombat 2. Like, they did drop the ball, and for me, I think that was one of the best casts of actors. If we're talking about, and I say this as an actor, I say this as somebody who's studied the craft, who's performed, who's done TV, who's done film and whatnot. Like, they are such a dynamic group. And, maybe I guess that's where my bias comes from loving the film so much, is because I really could feel myself empathizing and understanding each of their stories, because there is that complexity. There is, this building of like, okay, these are individual people and we love them as a group. But yeah, it's so sad.
Some balancing. It was just one of those. Characterization was there, but like you said, they needed to kind of ramp up the action. We needed to see them in the scene earlier. Honestly, we needed a very classic Morphin scene. Like, I was very disappointed that we didn't get that. And then they released that, as a collector of Power Ranger props and all the types of things. I'm like, I was very underwhelmed with the Morpher for that. Like, I used to have that in my display case, and I was like, I'm just gonna take this out of here now.
Yeah, no, that's
a grave,
so real.
Yeah.
Well, and like I say, right, when it comes to the Power Rangers film, Power Rangers 2017 is the best film in terms of structure, in terms of how it's written, cinematography, sure. 95 is the best Power Rangers film. And then Turbo, the movie, is what 95 should have did when it came to bridging the gap between the TV series and the show.
I totally agree, wholeheartedly. And to be honest with you, 95 will always be my favorite Power Rangers movie, just because how much it meant to me at the time. And I'm such a huge JDF fan. Like, he's my favorite Ranger, no matter what suit he wears. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I hated the Zeo suit so much. I think that's why the Zeo story is really good.
You're not a fan of Zeo Red?
I hate all the Zeo Ranger suits. It looks like they ain't got no top lip. It looks like they just got like a little split. Yo, one thing I hate about Power Rangers, right, and I've always hated, is the lips on their helmets. Those are so disgusting. And it's one of the reasons, like, suits for me are everything, right? it's one of the reasons why I took so long to watch Lightspeed Rescue. Because even though it didn't have no lips, it was just so basic and ugly. And bro, those suits are hands down probably the worst Power Ranger suits in the franchise. But the story,
Look, I need the water.
I'm not.
Drink something, 'cause, wow.
But the story of Lightspeed Rescue is top 5. Like, it's that good. It's just the suits and the Zords for me, to be honest. I just never could get, and that means so much. So I do think what you said is gonna matter. I believe the suits are gonna speak volumes because they got to. If it's a new team and they don't go to Morphin route, the Mighty Morphin route, they got to do something iconic where people like,
They have to.
wow, I like
you're
this.
right. Well, and that's the thing, right? And this is the thing about Power Rangers that is always gonna be this will be the one thing that we always go back to. Mighty Morphin, right? We talk about Mighty Morphin fatigue, right, in the fandom, right? But what I feel like people outside of the fandom who are more entrenched in Power Rangers in terms of lore, characters, actors, understanding and knowing the multiple seasons, comics, etc., is that even now, to the common person who's not as entrenched in Power Rangers, I mean, they may know Samurai because Samurai had a big impact, especially on the new generation of people growing up in Power Rangers. But people still love Mighty Morphin, and people are always gonna love Mighty Morphin. Even if the fans who are diehard, Ranger fans who love other seasons, and rightfully so, like, yeah, I don't want to keep seeing Mighty Morphin merch. But I'm not gonna lie, the Blade Blaster coming out of Playmates, this is legit.
Good. It's good. I do have that too. It's good.
Hey, I will piggyback off what you just said, right? You got to think about it from an investor standpoint, right? I don't know if this show is going to be as big as Percy Jackson, right? But just say it has the same budget. That's 10 million to 12 to 15 million an episode, right? Depending on how long a series is, things like that. If it's 8 to 10, if it's 10 episodes, like every other Disney Plus show or shorter, that's $100 million, which is gonna make it easily, the biggest budget for a Power Rangers project. So do you go the safe route and try to like redesign the outfits in a cool way like Toku J did? And like, all right, let's put it a little more bulky or patch it up a little bit. Something like they did with like Captain America's suit, where in the comics it's real plain, and then in the MCU it's like a little patchy, a little bulked up. So do you go that route, or do you take your chance and gamble with $100 million on a team that you don't know people are gonna gravitate to? So it's like Power Rangers, we see they came out for Fortnite and everybody lost their shit.
Yeah,
it got so bad that some Power Ranger fans was gatekeeping, like, you ain't a true Power Ranger fan. You wasn't over here when we was starving, which I kind of felt was like a little unnecessary because it's like,
it was unnecessary.
I even seen a video of somebody, he posted something when he was a kid. He was like, hey, if you wasn't a Power Ranger fan when you was 5 years old dressing up as a Power Ranger, you're not a true Power Ranger fan. You shouldn't.
No, that's
Well,
it's ageism.
What's so funny to me, right, about that sentiment, especially when it came to the Fortnite thing, it's like, yo, Power Rangers fandom, we need as many eyes on Power Rangers anyway, because the truth of the matter is, prior to the reboot, Power Rangers was dying as a brand. With what happened with Hasbro and them said, like, Power Rangers, there was no clear trajectory for the future of Power Rangers outside of the comic books, really. And that's the thing, the Boom Studios comics, they've really kept, and as much as the shows have, of course, the shows have always kept the Power Rangers relevant. But in terms of expanding the avenues of kind of accessibility that people have to Power Rangers, Boom Studios has been on top of that. Kyle Higgins, this 8-year Mighty Morphin run that ended, it put Power Rangers in a way on a map, and we were having Power Rangers stories being received and taken as seriously as Marvel or DC stories. And you know, and I feel like people don't talk about that, like the impact of the comics and how well written they are, and how, you know what,
The best Power Ranger
not even-
stories.
yeah, I'm not even gonna cap. Some of these storylines in Power Rangers can go toe to toe with some of DC and Marvel's. Can go toe to toe with some of their events. Truthfully,
I'm gonna keep it
I mean,
100. I think they was better than a lot of Marvel events. No disrespect to Marvel, but their events have been really lackluster. Like even Imperial, the newest event that's going on right now, and I love Black Panther, so I was really excited for Imperial. But let's call a spade. Shattered Grid clears that by a landslide. Unnecessary Evil clears that by a landslide. So
And I agree.
if I was them, man, I would literally hit up Kyle Higgins and be like, "Hey, can you come in for doing a little
Pretty
storyboarding?"
surprised that they have never decided to say like, let's just make an animated series. Like it just seems like that makes so much sense. That seems like it'd be cheaper. You can adapt all these storylines. You don't have to worry about having props and costumes and things like that.
Well,
they already pulled off everything anyway.
yeah.
It flabbergasts my mind that they have never said like, let's just try an animated series.
Hey, I bet they do it now. Jay, I bet they do it now, because let's call a spade a spade. I actually had this conversation with Jason Font today. Demon Slayers right now is the biggest international grossing project in the world. And not only that, it beat out a Marvel project, which is the first family, the Fantastic Four, which is
Fantastic
surprising.
Four.
And it beat out the golden child of DC himself, Superman. So animation off of a budget of $20 million. You know what they can do with a Power Ranger story like Shattered Grid or something like that, and making and Jason had a great point, which y'all gonna see in the interview. He said, you know, when he goes to conventions, he tells a lot of the newer Rangers, because their lines be a lot shorter with fans, and you know, against, and he was like, you know, Power Rangers are like wine. The longer your series ran, the more your fans are going to come, because they're going to come and support because they're older. So a lot of them are going to have the money to come to conventions and support you and spend, because, you know, they're a lot older now. That's why the Mighty Morphin team has such a huge fan base at the cons, because a lot of them remembered them and etc. Like Megaforce and so on, their fans are still young. Like, and there's going to be tons of them, because I've seen it. I've seen the amount of love that Andrew Gray gets on Instagram. He has one of the biggest followings of most of these Power Rangers. Most of them are like 15,000. He's up to like almost 250,000 in following. Like he has, and even most of the, you look up most of the Rangers from Megaforce, or even what's the other one, Ninja Steel. They have they have huge followings. Like they have a bunch of fans, but you got to understand those fans are young. They're still like in high school, and you know, coming up in college now. A lot of them ain't even worried about. Let's be honest, how many of us was worried about Power Rangers in college? I know personally.
I fell off. It was Operation Overdrive, and I was like, oh, I couldn't keep up with watching it, you know. And I've talked about this on TikTok a lot too. Like a lot of people have naturally kind of fell off around that time frame. I don't know what it is, and it's not that people were like, oh, I watched this and it sucked. They were just like, I made it up to Mystic Force, and I just stopped. Like life just got in the way or whatever else, and I'm like, I don't know. Is there like some type of divine force out there saying like you can skip Operation Overdrive? You don't need to watch it. It's okay. It has good bones, but for me,
listen. The best thing from Operation Overdrive is Once a Ranger, and we don't have to talk about Operation Overdrive.
Yeah, Operation Overdrive is getting a full clip, chat. They getting strays.
But you know, and I will say this. Operation Overdrive has some of the toughest morphs, and Will is one of my favorite Black Rangers.
All right, we do have to move on a little bit, right? Because we gotta be here for. I promised him I wouldn't keep him too long. I do want him to come back, chat. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want him to be like, oh, nah, Flea, you kept me for like 3 hours last time, gang. I don't know if I could do it.
You're good.
And he's on the East Coast, so for me, it's only 9 for him. it's 10 o'clock, so we got to be respectful, and we got, and I mean, he got things he cooking up too, man. So let's continue. I do want to get right from both of you gentlemen, because we didn't get yours, Shinosuke, last time, but we're gonna get yours now, right? We're gonna do a Mount Rushmore of Red Rangers.
Oh,
Mount. So I'm gonna give y'all one honorary mention. Y'all get one, but a Mount Rushmore is 4. So you're gonna give me your top 4 Red Rangers of all time. I already gave mine out earlier. Y'all gonna have to wait till next Monday for that. So we're gonna, you know what I mean? This is called our Forever Red segment. We're gonna start doing this. I wish I would have did it with Daniel when Daniel was here. We'll probably get him back on the show though. So yeah, Forever Red Mount Rushmore. That's what we're gonna call it. The Forever Red Mount
Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore.
Forever Red Mount.
And chat, feel free to spam it up. We're gonna go to the chat too for a Q&A real quick. We're gonna answer the questions. I'm also, if you've been typing in the chat, let me tell y'all something. The reason I'm gonna be fair about this giveaway, I love this part of YouTube now, because you can click on this button right here. Hold on, see if y'all, and you see where it says top fan? If you click on that, you get a certain amount of points by liking the stream, commenting. So I know if you've been active in the stream. Last week's winner was Kamui Trap God. And he's number 2 right now. Connor is number 1. Also, if y'all don't have to, but I'm just letting y'all know, I should have let y'all know this in the beginning of the episode, but all Cash App donations go to all my guests. So we split it up like a pie. So if you want to drop a Cash App donation and show some love to the stream, Cash App $ FleeboyJetson. And when it rings, I'll let y'all know. And donations, every donation will be split. My guy Ben already knows how I give it up. He's been part of the cast before. Every Cash App that we have on the show, I usually split it up with the guests. Now the super chats is a little different. I can't really split that up, but if you want to drop a super chat or get a membership, because if you get a membership to the channel, we have a hero and a superhero one. You get content early and you get a whole bunch of perks and enter the Discord secret channels and stuff like that. So make sure you get your membership. That is the best way to support the channel, or leaving a super chat or a Cash App donation. But all donations are appreciated, not obligated. So thank y'all so much for that. Now let's go. We gave these gentlemen some time to think. Forever Red Mount Rushmore. Let's get to it. Shinosuke, who you got?
Of course, you're gonna have me go first. Okay, I'm gonna go in reverse order. So I'm gonna say Zato, Dino Fury Red. I'm gonna also follow that up and go back a little bit. Let me see. It's gotta be 4. Gosh. Okay.
You get an honorary. You get it. I can't even talk. You get an honorary mention.
Okay. All right. Let me do it. Okay. So I got my Zato. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna give it to Shoot First Carson Gray, Carter Grayson from Lightspeed. He was I like his leadership style. It's really cool. Let me see. The other one, I'm gonna give it to. I'm also gonna give it to. Oh gosh, I'm gonna say TJ, because I know, like, you know, he kind of got a little shafted a little bit, but I really enjoyed him. I really like what kind of dynamic he brought to the team. I thought.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm so sorry. We did get a super chat, $1. Shout out the dollar donation from Connor. Big shout out to you, Connor. Next time, Connor, if you want to leave a question with your super chat, we'll be more than welcome to answer your question. So any super chat y'all want to give, just leave a question with it, and we'll definitely answer that at the end of the show. But Connor, don't forget to drop a question that we could answer for you at the end. All right, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
It's so hard to put on the spot on this, because I feel like this list could fit at any given moment. But okay,
so you got Carter, Zato, Who else you
Yeah.
put on there?
Carter Zato, and then I said TJ as well. I went
Is it TJ?
Ooh, that's a interesting one. Why does
Look,
TJ
he
get so much
deserves some-
hate?
He deserves
Oh.
flowers. Like he was a
TJ
solid.
deserves all the flowers.
He
He deserves
deserves the
all the
flowers.
flowers.
Because honestly, as a blue, he was almost like a red. Like, I mean, come on now. Like this guy, like give him. his
TJ was the
flowers.
leader of the in-space team, not Andros. Andros was out doing side quests looking for Astronomer, but TJ was holding the team together, boosting them
Thank
in
you.
morale.
Correct.
Also, let's
Thank
not
you.
forget, he had the best plan to defeat his Psycho Ranger, but...
Yeah. Yep. He was the strategic
And,
mind.
and also,
for sure.
too, look, I have to defend Theodore J. Jarvis Johnson because the same flack that he gets for being a Red Ranger, first of all, he had to fill Tommy's shoes. Nobody was going to fill Tommy's shoes. And on top of that, let's not act like under Tommy didn't also get the command center blown up.
That part.
Let's not forget. But when the brother does it, oh, everybody goes crazy. But when Tommy does it, when Tommy Oliver gets the command center destroyed, Tommy's the GOAT. He's the best leader.
You know what's crazy, right? I thought Tommy was always like a great addition to a team, right? Like, I really didn't like him in the leadership role. I always liked him like as a great addition. That's why I think my favorite color of Tommy was green when he first came in, because he was such a great addition. He was like, you know what I'm saying? Like that badass that came through and wrecked shop and then left. Like, you know, and then eventually when he became the leader and became the White Ranger and stuff like that, it was cool. Don't get me wrong. The White Ranger was probably, I would say, probably the most popular out of his forms. Like, because I believe, like, toys went crazy.
Yeah, it's like between that and green with Tommy.
I think a lot of people really like green.
Yeah, and the only reason I say that is because of the movie. It's like the movie took that suit to a whole new level.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's you know, so I really enjoyed that arc, but you got two more. No, you got one more. You got TJ.
One more,
No, you
and
got
then
two more. You got an
honorable
honor. Yeah, you got an honorable mention.
Okay, I am going to, for my last slot, I'm going to give that to, trying to think of somebody that's like, that really embodies the kind of leadership that I would like to follow under. Let me see. I'm going to give it to, Scott. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Scott.
Okay. Hey, that's not bad though, Scott. I think it's a. You know what I like about?
I would say it was between Scott and Jack. I was gonna say maybe even Jack. I like Jack's arc in terms of like him being.
Oh, Jax is another.
Let me actually. I'm gonna.
Oh, I forgot all about Jack.
I'm gonna give it to Jack, and then I'm going to put an honorable mention to the original Red himself, Jason Lee Scott, just because, like, you know, he was the one that started everything off. Obviously he's more fleshed out in the comics, as people have known. You know, like he's less of kind of like I'm a muscle man rival to the Tommy, but I do appreciate the fact that he was that person that was still like the center ranger who kind of tried to ground and keep the team together. So I'm going to give an honorable mention to him to respect my elders and my original. On this Mount Rushmore, so he's going to be over to the side.
All right, I want to say something.
My answer's subject to change, though, because I was caught on the spot, and I really need time to reflect and think and drink some tea.
Hey, please do, because I didn't. Please do, because I got put on the spot early. Well, I put myself on the spot trying to, like, catch up with Young Sage and Jason Font when I asked them this, but I forgot about Jack. If y'all watching this now and y'all see Monday, I say who I say on my Mount Rushmore. I'm not going to say who, because y'all got to watch it. But that last spot, I'm putting Jack. 100%. Okay. I completely forgot about Jack, man. And Scott isn't bad either, because to me, in that special where the RPM Red Ranger crossed over with Samurai, I thought he ate in that. Yeah, I thought he ate in that special, man. He was goated, bro. That was pretty dope. But B, it's your turn. Let's get to it. Your Mount Rushmore. Well, your Forever Red Mount Rushmore.
Okay, so this is my Forever Red Mount Rushmore. First and foremost, Carter, shoot first, ask question later's Grayson. He's one of my favorite Red Rangers of all time. Then I'm going to throw in Leo Corbett from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. I think he's an exceptional Red Ranger who has a very unconventional arc, considering that he started not wanting to be the Red Ranger, and that Mike, his brother who becomes Magna Defender, was supposed to be the Red Ranger. Who else? So let's see, Jason, Leo, Carter, and I'm going to say the last head on my Mount Rushmore, I'm going to put Jack. I love Jack. Jack is incredible. Jack is incredible. And then my honorable mention, I'm going to say Trini as the Omega Red Ranger in Boom Studios. She eventually, after Jason, so basically after the Death Ranger arc, Jason loses his powers in order to save everybody from the Death Ranger and whatnot. He loses his connection to the grid. Trini kind of naturally ascends into a leadership role and becomes the Red Omega Ranger. And she has a fantastic tenure, and just the way her arc kind of rounds out, it's just a great tribute to Tweet Train. So that's my Mount Rushmore.
I'm not mad at neither one of y'all, man. I kind of like that list. I'm going to ask y'all one more before we let you go, B, man. Thank you so much. Hey, Rangers, if you're in the chat, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We got this Megazord giveaway. Jason will announce the winner himself. Now, I'm pretty sure we got a very great winner, man. But listen, if you didn't win it, I promise you, I could play the clip for you now. He did say he was sending me 10 to 20 autographs. I don't know when I'm going to get them. He has my address. He said he's going to send them to me. Y'all can ask Young Sage. Sage was there. I was expecting like 2 or 3, to be honest, because he did say he was going to bless me. When he said 10 to 20, I said, oh, my God, thank you. And I told him I was going to give them all away. They won't be for sale. I'm not selling anything. I'm giving them away. But all you got to do to win is just please like, comment, and subscribe. It's free. Free of charge. All you got to do is just show up, like, comment, and subscribe. And each episode, when you're in the chat, I'm going to see, because we want to make this a thing. I'm very passionate about this podcast because I'm excited for the reboot. I'm living my second childhood all over again. I started, and the reason why I said Jack, I got to put Jack on there, because I started with SPD. That's where I picked up from, where I left off. So I picked up with SPD, and I said, my God, this is what Power Rangers came to? Like when I got introduced to Jack, he would have been more like familiar to me as a youngin' and more relatable than any Ranger I've ever seen. So the fact that it took me that long to experience that, oh man, it's so much. But I'm going to go ahead and get to the next question,
also,
right? Oh, go ahead.
It's 2025. It's 2025. It's SPD year.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that is right. It's SPD year. It's 20.
Yeah.
And we got a couple of stuff cooking right now. I can't tell y'all too much, but we got an original Green Ranger SPD story coming out with one of Jason Frank's sons. Toys, a whole bunch of stuff. Stay tuned for that. I don't know too much about it, but that's all I could tell you. I can tell you some information about Legend of the White Dragon, but you got to stick away. You got to stick around for Monday's episode. Jason Font lays it all on the line. I'm telling y'all, some of my interviews be real personal and deep. I ask those type of questions. And speaking of that, Catherine Sutherland's interview is up next. So make sure you tune in and get her thoughts on what the reboot should be or shouldn't be and how she feels about it. Now, B, our last question before we let you out of here will be from the chat. So, chat, we're going to take, of course, we're going to take the super chat. Connor, if you have a question, please let us know. We want to get that question. So, Connor, please ask us a question. Kamui Trap God, if you got a question, feel free. And, of course, Afro Ranger Gaming, big shout out to you. I personally invited you here, so I want to get a question from you as well. So go ahead, y'all, shoot those questions off. And big shout out to Lord Zed in the chat right now. If you haven't seen the exclusive Voice of the Heroes podcast, Lord Zed intro, Please check it out. We played it in the beginning of this podcast. Yeah, he it's funny. You gotta check it out,
man.
You gotta check it out, B. He opens up his little Lord Zed iPhone with an eye on it, and he's watching the podcast, and he's talking shit. And then we're gonna play the outro to it, where I got a new outro. This is new. This is brand new. Make sure you see the skit. Lord Zed is gonna be doing a lot of skit for us on the podcast. We're gonna have multiple content creators come on here. We're gonna have multiple discussions. So please, if you're not in the Discord, join it. And I'm gonna open up our own Power Rangers channel. It's gonna be exclusively for everybody that wants to learn about Power Rangers podcasts and stuff like that. Drop your questions, drop topics. Say, hey, Flea, I want to see you and B talk about more Power Rangers Prime. Y'all skipped over the relationship with such and such and what looming along. Stuff like that. Let us know, man, what you want to hear, and we got y'all. So let's get to some of these questions. Let's see what the chat has to offer. What color do you guys want to see as a Power Ranger? In the reboot or as in overall?
There's one before that too, so just in case.
Oh, there's one before that? Okay.
Yeah, there's
what Sixth Ranger is your favorite? All right, so we'll do that one, Kamui Trap God, and then we'll do Connor's. Me personally, I'll start this one off. It's easy. Tommy Oliver, man. For me, it's Tommy.
I'll be right back. I got something.
My favorite version of Tommy is that guy right there. I love a villain. I love a compelling villain. And Lord Draken is the ultimate. Bro, he destroyed multiverses. Like, name another Power Ranger villain that destroyed. I don't think nobody done something like that besides like Thanos. He did his end goal. Like, his end game was to create a reality for him. And, unfortunately, if you don't know what happens, no spoilers, but he is that guy. Whether he's good or evil, Tommy is probably the best version of what we consider a Power Ranger. B, go ahead.
So, for me, this guy right here, the Titanium Ranger.
Oh, okay. American made, American born, American made.
USA.
Made in the USA, the Titanium Ranger. And this is an OG Titanium Ranger figure that I got at New York Comic Con at the little Ranger Stop convention, where they had a whole bunch of toys and things. But the Titanium Ranger, fantastic arc, easily one of the strongest Six Rangers. I mean, upon his first encounter, he washed the Lightspeed Rescue team. They used the Rescue Bird. Every Power Rangers team has all their weapons come together for a big blast that blows up monsters. They used the Rescue Bird on Ryan. He took his axe, deflected it, and threw it back at them. Titanium Ranger. They had to develop the V-Lancers, the next stage in weaponry from Miss Fairweather, to take him out. And even then, after they hit him with the group blast, Homeboy got up and was like, and he still wanted to keep going. Titanium Ranger.
Hey, I love it. All right, Sanosuke, your favorite Sixth Ranger.
Oh my gosh. Look, let me see if I got him over here. Honestly, I do want to give Tommy his flowers, but I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna choose his kind of counterpart successor. Let me open up the case.
I know who it is.
You know what I'm doing?
Is it Trent?
You know it.
It's Trent. It's Trent Mercer Fernandez.
Speaking of people who were clearing their entire team, yes, you got to get the Trent in there. Honestly, they're more. My actual real favorite Six Ranger of all time is the Sentai counterpart to this. Gokai Silva. I love Gokai Silva. Yeah. So that's actually truly my favorite. But short of that, I will take this for our American-made Power Rangers. I'll give Trent his flowers. But honestly, Tommy's still a very close second to that. Obviously, he is kind of.
Nah, Trent is up there. Trent rivals Tommy when it comes to popularity because the design of Trent Mercer's suit.
They had to nerf him in the Sentai because he was just too much. It was too explicit for, and there was a lot going on in Japan at the time. And so they had to change his character and make sure that it was not, he was killing a little too hard. He was murking a little too much.
Hey, I respect it, man. Those are great all choices. Now, when you say what color Power Rangers would we like to see? I'm assuming you're talking about the reboot. If it is the reboot and they go original team, me personally, I know people want to see a new team, but I really want to see Zach, Trini, Jason, Kimberly, and Billy in their suits. As Walter said, man, as a black kid growing up in the early 90s, it was nothing like seeing the first black superhero on TV. So putting Zach in a blue suit just never made any sense to me. He is the Black Ranger. Trini is the Yellow Ranger. Now, I understand the controversy and the wokeness of today's culture. I truly understand it. But if you really want to honor those actors, you would do right by casting a Vietnamese actress to play Trini. That's what you would do if you really wanted to honor her legacy, because she was the first Vietnamese superhero on TV. Like, what are we talking about?
It'd be not, men. I was hoping that men, like, the daughter would actually kind of carry that, and they would find a way to incorporate her into something.
I was hoping that too.
I was really, really hoping.
She just Min just gets like that cameo of her in the Megazord with Billy in Cosmic Fury.
That's
like they dropped the ball of kind of fully going the extra route and like developing her even further.
Could have just if they even made a new, it's I know a lot of that's kind of dead now, but it would have been really nice if they found a way to incorporate her into a new team, even if she didn't keep the Mighty Morphin Yellow powers. Like, if they had another iteration, like just like having the continuity of like, okay, these are done, she's gonna transition over to this team. But I know, again, that's kind of wishful thinking at this point. But I imagine she put a lot of work into playing that character, the training, and to only kind of be the Yellow Ranger at the end. I wanted to see her further. Like, they should have had a cameo with her in like Cosmic Fury or something, where she just had like an adventure, or she could have joined them or something like that, just to give her something else to do to further honor, again, Trini's legacy and the actress as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I do. So that's my, straight black, yellow, red, pink, and blue. Now, of course, I do want to see green as the Sixth Ranger. I know Ninja Kids has the White Ranger in it. So when Ninja Kids project come out, we will be getting Tommy, but it will be the White Ranger. But I do want him to start off as the Sixth Ranger. To be honest, I don't even care if the reboot is a remake. And, it's just new actors, new designs for the monsters, and you do the whole green, Eat Forever Green or Evil Green. I forget the name of the arc. But I don't even mind if you do all that again, just mix it up a little bit. And, I would love to see a remake, a modern telling of it with better story-driven, better dialogue. I don't want to sit there and throw shade and say better actors, but, a more theatrical, standpoint of what Power Rangers could be, because I think this could rival, if done right, Marvel and Star Wars. If done right. Because in space reminds me so much of like a Star Wars project. Not gonna lie. When Jason said it to me earlier, why he loved In Space so much, I said, man, he ain't lying. And then the opening scene in space is iconic. Like, it's one of the dopest opening pilots we ever got for a Power Rangers series. But those are the colors I would like to see. B, what colors would you like to see in the reboot?
So in the reboot, of course, I of course I want to see a red. I gotta see blue. Yellow and pink for me, I think, are not mandatory, but I wouldn't mind that because, the primary colors like yellow, all the Mighty Morphin colors are the primary colors. I can see those in the reboot. I also not opposed to green. I would even honestly love to see like purple.
Oh, I like that.
I was gonna.
And orange even. And orange even. I feel like those are colors that we've seen show up in other places that are very interesting. Like, for example, the comics, the Solar Rangers, Alarian and Remy are the purple and orange Solar Rangers, and those designs are sick. Fern and Cosmic Fury gets the Orange Ranger suit, and we've seen kind of glimpses, of these different Ranger suits. I actually have some artwork of me in a purple Lightspeed Rescue suit, so I want to see some purple, orange, green, but I also wouldn't mind to see the primary colors if they presented themselves as red, blue, pink, yellow, and black. So that's my answer.
What about your colors? What would you like to see?
Honestly, I'm a sucker for the primaries myself. I will say this though, I like green, but I like black. Like I like a classic black. Like a lot of times the accents of a suit or whatever else are really accentuated with like the with black, or they do interesting things with that. So I always like to see a black on the team. I kind of sometimes hate that they will swap out the green and the black, and I always like it'd be nice to see them both on the same team. Like at the same time. It would be interchangeable and make them a primary, ranger as well. I don't know. I was feeling you what you said. Purple is as soon as the question came up, I immediately thought about that because purple can really look good. Like with the gold, it just I think about RJ. His suit was really dope. So I don't know. For the series, I think it's probably good to stick with the classic primary colors. But if I were going to experiment, I would probably throw a purple in there. I'm not so big on orange. I don't know why. I know that's been a thing that's been in like fandom for years. People have been talking about they want an Orange Ranger. I just don't care to have one.
That's
It's
fair.
cool to see, go off if they want to do it, but that's not my primary thing. Also, I'm a fan of the kind of alternate primary colors like crimson and navy. I love like shades. I'm like blue is honestly my favorite color anyway. So if they wanted to go just a little bit darker with certain shades, or do like kind of a what do you call the color that's red but not red? Oh my gosh, maroon or something like
Burgundy.
that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, maroon. Yeah.
or like
If I was
crimson.
gonna do something alternate, I would look into those colors as well. But honestly, for a re-release, I would definitely go into the classic primary colors.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go the safe route and take out the black and just do green, et cetera, et cetera. If they go a new team, if they go the Mighty Morphin thing, then of course we're gonna get the primary colors. But let us know in the comments how y'all feel. Now, I do want to appreciate everybody that came through. I don't know if we missed. Hold on, we got Connor's question right. We didn't get Afro Rangers question. They said they want to see the unnecessary flips and they hope they don't get rid of the explosions. All right, they said from all the iterations of Power Rangers, you had to pick one team to join. Which team would you be and what color would you be? All right,
Ooh.
so I'll go first once again. If I can join any team, whew, I'm going to go on. Oh, this is a good one. I'm going to. This is actually kind of tough. This is a tough question, man. All right, I'm going to go with. I'm going to go. Oh, my God. This is a tough one. You really. I think either one or two teams, right? I think just because there was so many, and I think it would be cool to hang out with them, Dino Charge, because there's like 10 of them. So, it would always be a dope, situation, all of us. And then I know I'm not going to get left behind or I'm not going to get jumped because I got like 10 friends. So we're always going to be the ones jumping motherfuckers. But I think it would be Dino Charge, right? And they had some baddies on there. I ain't even gonna lie. They had some baddies on there. So I'll be straight, you know what I'm saying? But I think it would be Dino Charge. And I think color, man, that's a hard one because there's so many. They got 10 people on there. So it would be hard to get a color out of that. They got an orange, right? So I can't really say orange. I guess I would want to be like they got purple, right? So I say like a violet, like a lighter shade of purple, like a light shade like a violet or something. I think that would be dope. You know, I think, and it goes good with my skin, so I think I would like eat off that. You know what I'm saying? I think I would
feel
eat
you.
off that, to be honest. But what team would y'all be in? What color?
So immediately, I kind of knew my answers. I have two teams that I would want to be on. And listen, for those of you tuning in and watching, as you see, I love the comics very, very much. So I'm constantly referencing them. And don't worry, I have the same knowledge about the show, but I'm obsessed with the comics. I would honestly either want to be on the Omega Ranger team or the Solar Rangers team. And if I was on the Omega Ranger team, I would want to be either blue or black. And if I was on the Solar Rangers team, I would want to be either pink or purple. Yeah, because the design for Ranger Slayer's design in the Solar Ranger suit is pretty tough, and then Alarian's Purple Ranger design, that's the first Solar Ranger, and that design in and out of itself I think is fantastic. So those are the two teams and the colors that I would kind of alternate between.
All right, Shinosuke, what you got for us?
It's a hard one for sure. I will tell you this. I'm just gonna go ahead. There's one team, again, there's an aesthetic aspect of it that I really like, but I won't choose that as the actual team I would want to be on just because it's not a great show. And I'll say that one second, but I'll just say, honestly, I love Time Force. I love, like, again, my fandoms kind of cross a lot of things anyway. So, like, I'm a Star Trek person, so I also like sci-fi. And time travel is like a really fun like theme for me. I'm a Doctor Who fan, all the different things. So
Nice.
I like Time Force. I like the Chrono Sabers. I like the, the crazy, like the badges. I like the stuff coming from the future. In terms of the color, that is a good question. Because again, I know it's basically what would look the best on me, in my opinion. I can't go anywhere other than I'd have to be red.
I ain't mad at you.
But here's the question.
I honestly take the Quantum Rangers because I like that fit, right?
I was just about to say, I feel like you in the
he's a
quantum
red.
suit.
That counts. It counts.
Yeah, it counts. It counts.
Yeah.
He was in Forever Red, so it counts.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Before we let everybody go, how do y'all feel about Rocky not being in Forever Red? Because he could have been a Ninjetti. He could have had the Ninjetti suit on. And I think like there's two things that really set me off when it comes to thinking about the franchise, right? Rocky, because my God, he didn't deserve that. And Boom Studios did a decent job cleaning it up a little bit, introducing us to his siblings. That'll probably be the 27th episode. You'll hear Steve talk more about that because they was going to incorporate that in the show, but decided not to. There was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes on why he wanted to leave and even the way they written his character off. But we'll talk about that on the 27th. But I do feel like, right, and the way they did Nakia, she was the only Ranger that never came back for anything. And she's been a staple in the community for years. And
Nakia is I've met Nakia a few times. She actually signed my Beyond the Grid comic because Tanya is a major player. And Beyond the Grid, it's like the Solar Rangers, and that's also the thing. They're a hodgepodge group of like Rangers. And Tanya is a major character, and I told Nakia, I was like, you were one of my favorite parts of Zeo. And it's just a shame that she didn't have the opportunity to come back and do more, because Tanya was actually such a solid character. And in many ways, she very much acts like the moral compass of the group. Mm-hmm. And I completely agree with that sentiment, Fleeboy. Like, they really did Nakia dirty. They did Rocky dirty. I mean, Mans flew out of the ring. I don't know who or what force. What wind blew? It was like, the door opened and the wind that blew away Dorothy's house had this man Woo! Right out of the ring.
Oh man, but hey, shout out to everybody that came through today, man. I do appreciate y'all and love y'all so much. Shinosuke, let people know where to follow you at one more time.
All right, you can find me on TikTok at Shinosuke, JayShinoske. You can also find me on Instagram, but I don't post it often. But you probably can see a little bit more of my collection there. So eventually, I'm gonna get to it. I do need to post more about all the things I own. Oh, my bad. More things. So follow me on TikTok, and I'll let you know from there.
And B, let people know where to follow you at on social media.
Got you. So you can follow me on Instagram, Bernard_Scudder. That's BERNARD_SCUDDER. And you can find me on TikTok. My handle is Did I Scudder? Play on the phrase Did I Stutter? But DIDISCUDDER.
All right, don't forget to stay for the Captain Sutherland interview. I'm gonna be in the chat with y'all, and also we gotta pay the bills. So we got a G Fuel commercial, and then right after that, we have a secret message from my guy, Lord Zed. Hope to see y'all next week, man. I love y'all. Love yourself. Pass that love on and love others. And if nobody told you so, just know your boy love you. Signing out from the Morphin Grid with, look, bro, I feel helpless. I need a weapon or something. I can't, they got morphers, weapons. Oh, they locked in right now, man. Hey, heroes, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, man, I love y'all. Love yourself. And until next time, Voice of the Heroes, signing out. Heroes, we're shifting into that new Gear 5 Luffy Mango Passion Fruit from G Fuel. It's easy to make, and the goodie box comes with so many great things. You definitely want to go get this. 20% off. Use that promo code FleeboyJetson. Don't forget to use the code FleeboyJetson for 20% off.
So, this FleeboyJetson has dared to make a podcast about the Power Rangers. Pathetic, yet intriguing. Go ahead and make your little podcast. Just remember, I'll be watching.
Hey guys, this is Jason Douglas.
This is Adam MacArthur, voice of Yuji Itadori.
This is Derek Snow, the voice of Shinra Kusakabe.
This is Phil Parsons, voice of Kenny the Ripper Ackerman.
It's Merc New One. You are watching Voice of the Heroes. Take it away, Fleeboy.
What's good, everybody? You already know who it is and what it is. And if you don't, it's the one and only one, FleeboyJetson. And you're watching Voice of the Heroes podcast. So if you're tuning in for the first time, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so you can be notified for any upcoming discussions or interviews with your favorite heroes and villains from around the world. And today we got a huge guest in the building. She morphed herself into one of the most iconic women superheroes of the 90s and one of the biggest and most popular children's show of that generation, carving her own legacy, becoming the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger and the Pink Zeo Ranger and Pink Turbo Ranger. Let's welcome Captain Sutherland to the show. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for that lovely introduction. Wow, thank you.
Hey, thank you for coming on the show. We got so much to discuss. We've been doing Power Rangers on the channel recently. We usually do like voice actors, but I wanted to do Power Rangers because I grew up just thinking I was a Power Ranger myself, jumping off couches, things like that. So I wanted to interview some of the most iconic Rangers from the series, and you stepped into some pretty huge shoes as the Pink Ranger at the peak of the Power Ranger franchise, becoming the most iconic female superhero in the world. What was that transition like, both on and off screen for you?
Yeah, well, I auditioned in Australia, so I think the show had only just started airing there, so I really didn't know what it was. I just knew it was a children's show that filmed in America, and I was just happy to be getting a job, you know. And my first introduction to how big the show was actually at the premiere of the movie, the first movie. I was with Jason Frank and his wife and one of the producers, and when we stepped out of the car, it was like, like he was one of the Beatles. It was crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't just a little kids show, you know? So I realized at that point that this was like I was going to be part of a really, really big thing here. And you know, I think I was always very sensitive to the fact that this was Amy Jo's family and they had built this show together, and I knew how popular she was. And so I was very aware of that when I walked on the set. So I was sensitive to her, the fact that even though she'd chosen to leave, this was still her space. So I think I was a little bit nervous. I was nervous if the fans were going to accept me, because they had in my contract, if I wasn't, you know, accepted by the fandom, I'd be going back home. So there was a lot of pressure on me to, you know, make sure that I did the role right. And I think the writers were really smart in making the characters very different from each other. I think that helped them accept me once they got over me being horrible, the evil character. So yeah, it's a real honor to be a part of something like this. You know, especially after it's been on for 30 years, it's still crazy to think it's been going that long. But
yeah, and man, oh man, did you make an impact when you came onto the show? Blew everybody away, definitely in a good way, because Kat's evolution from being a mind control antagonist to a core member of the team had a unique emotional layer. How did you navigate portraying that inner conflict within the framework of a children's action series?
It's always really fun to do something that's very different from you. So I really enjoyed playing that character, and I got to work a lot with the stunt guys and everything, which once you're a ranger, we didn't see a lot of them because we were filming simultaneously. So I'm really glad I got an opportunity to get to know all of those guys well. And it was just really fun. I think obviously, you know, it was overly dramatized because they had to make sure that the kids knew she was the bad guy. But some of the parts were a little cheesy, like the hair toss and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, what's this about? But they wanted to make her kind of seductive, but in a children's way. So it was really fun to play. And I think, you know, just I'd been in acting school, so I was really in the thick of like learning about acting, and so anything that kind of provided a little bit of a challenge for me was really fun at that time of my life.
Okay, let's go. What was there a particular episode or storyline that really resonated with you on a personal level throughout the franchise?
Yes, there's an episode in Turbo called Wait and See, and it was an episode that really like the writers were asking us a lot about things that happened in our own lives, personal lives. And I had experienced this because I was a dancer. There was a lot of girls around me that had eating disorders, and I struggled a lot as a teenager with my self-esteem. And so in the episode, Kat was really struggling with her self-esteem, and she decides not to eat food, and she is like, basically the moral of the story is it's what's on the inside that matters more than what's on the outside. But it was a really I thought a really important message to kids, and because I'd struggled with that myself, I thought it was really important to share that with them.
That's really interesting, and that's a great insight. So it just from hearing you say that, right, it shows that the writers actually, you know, actually look forward to talking to y'all on collaborating on certain episodes. Was there another episode where you got to like improvise or like get some type of say into it?
Any of the episodes where I was dancing, I had some input in that. You know, they knew I was a huge animal lover, so I was very fortunate. I got to work with monkeys and dogs and horses and all kinds of animals, so that was really fun. And Doug Sloan and Ann Knapp, who were the writers predominantly for Zeo and into the first half of Turbo, they were really good about bringing out our skills or our personalities. You know, Nakia was a singer, so they wrote that into the show. It was really cool that they did that. So I'm trying to think if there was any others that I specifically had an input in.
That is actually awesome though, man. 'Cause you don't get that, you know, you don't get too much of that on other shows. So I think that's pretty dope. Now, Power Rangers did help define the 90s pop culture, but often was dismissed critically. Now that is viewed in a more nostalgic and more appreciating lens. Has your own perspective of the show evolved?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I was on the show, we all thought it was kind of cheesy, but we knew that kids loved it, and I think it had everything. It was fast paced. It had great music. It was had fighting. It had the girls were feminine, but they were also a really integral part of the team and strong girls. It had great moral messages. It was colorful and fun, and it really captured the 90s with the fashion and the style and all of that. So now looking back on that, I can really see all of those elements. But when we were on the show at the time, I remember thinking, this is so low budget. And this is like, we were all kind of looking at it at a little bit of a critical lens, I think. But they definitely were onto something. I mean, a show doesn't last for 30 years with children, especially. Kids are on to the next best thing. So the fact that it's still relevant for kids even now, parents are introducing it to their children. I think that says a lot about the show. And Chaim was definitely onto something when he discovered this.
Yeah, it's huge. I'm talking about globally. Like even the conventions are massive. The Power Rangers con that y'all have, what is it called? Morphicon?
Or Morphicon, yep. And Ranger Stop and Pop, and yep.
Yeah, it's just so huge now. And I think it has mostly to do with the internet. And now it's unfortunate we haven't got a Power Rangers season in a couple of years, but just the feeling is missing so much that now people are actually Americans and people on the west side of things are looking for Super Sentai now because that gap that we usually get, like every season we know Power Rangers is coming out. We haven't gotten one recently, which we're going to get to the reason why in a second. Now, your character, Kat, went on to play multiple series be in multiple series throughout the franchise, including a few movies and cameos. Power Rangers, the movie Turbo, Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel. We had Once and Always, the Netflix 30th anniversary special. Was there a favorite comeback for Kat and why?
Definitely Once and Always. I was really happy to go back for Ninja Steel, but I felt like it was a bit of a cop out. They were just cameos. There wasn't like anything. It didn't bring my character back. It was just like, oh, there's Kat. There's the Gold Ranger from Samurai. Oh, there's Rocky. They were just kind of like making sure it was kind of fun for the fans, but a lot of fans were disappointed in those anniversary episodes because they didn't get their favorite characters coming back to life. So when they contacted me for Once and Always, that was my first question to them is, well, am I coming back or am I just like appearing as a character? Because if I'm coming back, I want to come back properly for the fans. And they were like, no, it's going to be a true, like, we're going to invest in all of the characters and the stories. And I really loved what they did with her. That's where I saw her going. I saw her going on to marrying Tommy in the future and then the kid and just maybe our child becomes a Power Ranger in the future because they'd kind of insinuated that in the series when I was on it in Zeo. I think that was it was fun to go back to New Zealand, really nostalgic to walk back on all the sets being recreated. The juice bar looked just like it had when I was on it. It was really fun. And I got to work with Walter for the first time too. So that was cool.
That's amazing. I love the way they did that. It brought back so many dope memories for me. I didn't even believe they did it. I was like, yo, we're actually getting this and just watching it because my kids, they love Power Rangers too. And just, getting that full circle moment, watching it with my kids, I think that's one of my favorite moments for Kat and the rest of the gang that came back. You had Billy come back, you had Walter, you had everybody. I thought it was pretty dope. Now, this is a fan question from the community. Big shout out to everybody that watches the channel. Make sure y'all comment in the comment section below what you like most about this interview and if your answer is the right one. But it's her opinion that matters. So you wore so many iconic outfits throughout the franchise. The Mighty Morphin, Zeo, the Turbo. Which one had your favorite helmet? Which one was your favorite helmet out of all three of them?
Oh, for sure. My favorite helmet was Mighty Morphin. 100%. I love that helmet. It's iconic. I loved the pterodactyl, the face, just the way it was all structured. Definitely that one.
Hey, there you go. So the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger helmet is her favorite. Thank you so much. I believe it was BK that sent that question in. I forgot to write it down. Whoever sent the question in, thank you so much. And remember, all you got to do is join the Discord. I'll let y'all know when the interviews are being put out. You throw a question out there, and I'll try to get them asked for you if we got time. Now, you remained a beloved figure in the fandom that spans generations. What do you think Power Rangers taught young audience, especially girls, that other shows at the time didn't?
I think I said this a little bit earlier. I really loved that that the girls were really feminine. They were girly, feminine girls, but they were really strong and powerful and very important to the team. They didn't need the boys to fight. There was many times that I took on the monsters by myself. So I just loved showing girls that they can be strong that way and still be a girl, so that, and then I also loved how smart they were. They were good in school. They were respected authority. They were kind to people. And I think that a lot of the shows now, I find when I was watching shows with my kids, I just found the kids really snarky and rude to their parents, and just I think our show always showed a lot of respect for adults, which I also really appreciated. And then being a part of the team, I think the girls in the show were really supportive of each other. And I think that's missing a lot in our culture. Girls can be really unkind and mean and pull each other down. And the girls in our show were all about elevating each other and supporting each other.
Great answer. Now, as a Power Ranger fan for so many years, and it's even hard for me to do this interview, those that's watching know I don't even stumble like this. I'm just fanned out right now. It was really good to see, and I gotta recommend this to y'all. Catherine and Nakia have a podcast that y'all have to check out. If you're a Power Ranger fan like myself, I can't recommend it enough. Now you have so many actors, so many insights. You do reviews and reactions on the toys, the cons, everything, right? Tell us a little bit about the podcast, how it got started, how it got the creation behind Power Ranger Playback.
Oh, thank you for asking. Yeah, it's called Power Rangers Playback. So Nakia and I in 2019 we were in Scotland at a convention, and there was two guys next to us that we met at the convention. We love them, Nolan North and Troy Baker. And you guys would know them if you're at all into the voiceover world. They're very that industry. And they had a really long line with their fans were wearing shirts that said Retro Replay on it. And we said to them, so what's Retro Replay? And they said, oh, it's our YouTube channel, and we watch our games together. We play them, and then we talk about, we do our voices and we talk about the games that we voiced. And I was like, that's such a great idea for your fans. So Nakia and I were like, we should do something like that for our fans. So we started throwing out ideas of, we'll watch episodes and we'll talk about, what it was like behind the scenes of our episodes. So that's kind of what we were going to do originally. Well, we recorded a bunch of episodes and we went to put it up, and we got copyright claimed immediately. And we were like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And they cut it down from, a 20-minute episode down to like 1 minute. We couldn't use any footage, or even with, just putting pictures up and making it our own, and whatever they call that, fair play, I think it's called. We couldn't even do that. So we had to kind of go back to the drawing board. And then COVID happened. And so we had a whole lot of time to brainstorm. And so we came up with all kinds of fun content. Nakia would call me in like 3 a.m. and be like, okay, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? And then I'd be like, while she's sleeping, I'm like, we could do this, we could do that. So we were coming up with all kinds of fun ideas, and based on what fans had questions fans had asked us, or things that they wanted to know. And it was such a beautiful thing to have during that year, because all the conventions had been shut down. So fans didn't have a community to connect to each other. And that's so important to our fandom. They love conventions and just community. They love the community. It's a very, very like a little family. And so our channel became a community. So we ended up creating membership for our fans. And we have Discord channels. We do video chats with them. We ask a lot. We ask a lot of their opinions of what kind of content and what kind of guests to bring on, and they really help us with merchandise, all kinds of stuff. It's a very collaborative channel, and it's really funny because we even have people watch it now that aren't even Power Rangers fans. They just love our friendship because Nikki and I are so close, and it's fun and joyful, and it's just a really nice way to give back some happiness. There's too many dark things in the world right now. We just got to bring some joy where we can. So that's kind of how it evolved. And now we have, hundreds of members, and we have, it's building. We're realizing we're not very technical. So we're trying to figure out how to grow our subscribers and all that stuff that we're not very familiar with. And it's been a really fun to share that with her. So we travel all over the world and doing conventions together and talking about our channel, and yeah, it's really fun.
I love it. I really enjoy watching y'all, and you learn so many different things. I've watched so many interviews, so many reviews. So it's just an awesome channel. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below for anyone who is not subscribed to that channel. I don't know what you're doing if you're not subscribed, especially if you're a Power Ranger. It's free. No, support is absolutely free, man. Yes. Now, what was your favorite interview to do on that channel?
Oh gosh, we've interviewed so many people. I love them all because, I didn't watch the show. So I now that we have the channel, I've gotten to watch other seasons and learn about other series that I didn't know about. And it's been really fun to, I know the actors, so actually seeing what their shows and their seasons were about is really fun. I always love interviewing my closest friends. So it's been fun, interviewing Karen Ashley or Johnny or, Aaron and Jason from Time Force. We did a fun episode with them. We have a really, really great episode with Jason Frank that went on for 2 hours or something crazy like that. Like I had to leave the interview and go with my children and come back. So, yeah.
I actually seen that one. That was a good one.
It was a good one. We had a really good one with Aaron and Tammy and Jenna. One talking about Jason, if you want some insight on that. One of my favorite ones too was we had Angela Rockwood. She was Twee's best friend, and she was in the car with Twee when the accident happened that took Twee's life way too soon. And so she shares a lot of beautiful things about Twee and talks about that day. And it was a very emotional episode, but really, really good. Like the fans really loved that one.
Man, I just got goosebumps. Just hearing that from here.
Yeah. So we try to do a nice variety. We just had Philip Andrew from Wild Force on last week. We're having a couple of newer season guests coming on in the next couple of months. So it's been good. We try to spread it out so it's not all like OG people. We want to have all of the seasons as much as we can. So
that is phenomenal. I'll be checking it out for sure. I can't get enough of it. Heroes, please, I'm telling y'all one more time, if you enjoy Power Rangers, this is the best podcast to go check out. You get the insight from the actors themselves that were actually in it. It's not like here, no offense, I love my podcast, but it's different. You get Catherine and Nakia actually interviewing other Power Rangers on multiple seasons. Not only that, they review the toys, the games, whatever's going on within that culture themselves. It's a really wholesome podcast. Make sure y'all check it out. Now, speaking of the future of Power Rangers, right? Disney is developing the new live action reboot for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on Disney Plus. The showrunners will be Jonathan E. Steinberg and Dan Schatz. Now, both of these gentlemen have already worked together in other shows like Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Apple TVC with Jason Momoa, Black Sails, Jericho, etc., etc. So they have like a little chemistry already working on multiple different projects. What do you think will be some of the key ingredients this show will need to not only succeed, but attract new audience to the franchise?
Well, first of all, I didn't know that. I knew they'd done the Percy Jackson. I didn't know all the other stuff. They're very accomplished, and I love their work. I think they're both super talented. And I think it's fun to see someone like that come into the series and see what they can do. We've always said that we would love to see a more mature version of the show. There has been fan ones done over the years, and some of them were a little too dark for me. It's still a kids show, so I like that it's a little wholesome. That's just my personal take.
No, I agree with you. I think we're talking about the same one that was a little too dark
A little,
on
yeah, went a
YouTube.
little too far for me. But I thought it was great. It looked well done, but it just was a little too far away, a bit too much of a departure for me personally. But I really I loved the 2017 movie. I thought they did a great job. I liked that whole Breakfast Club kind of feel. I liked in Once and Always, we saw a little bit more, a little bit darker. Like we saw blood for the first time in Power Rangers. We saw death for the first time in Power Rangers. So I think they did a nice job of kind of ushering that in a little bit. I would like to see maybe them bring back some of the original Rangers from the original Zordon era series to be mentors, maybe for the newer Rangers. Maybe that's their kids, maybe their teachers, something like that. Just having some influence from that original series. But I hope they don't go too far away from it because it's working and people love it. And I think that would be disappointing for the fandom. I'm around, I hear all of our fans and what they want all the time. I hear what they love. I hear like every weekend when I'm at a convention, I'm talking to them. So I hope that whoever, carries this on is going to listen to the fans, what the fans want, finally.
No, I agree with you. Some fan service isn't bad. So I agree.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. At first I was like, are they going to make it an animated series or are they going to make it like a movie or is it going to be just, different versions of different seasons or I'm really curious what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a full-on reboot, which I kind of agree with it, and I don't because it's like, it's time to mix it up. And I think the same creators that worked on Percy Jackson and the Olympians give me a little faith because some of the monsters, I think they're gonna move away from the prosthetic type aspect of the monsters and more CGI-ish. And I think, the Zords and things like that, because Disney Plus, they've been spending a lot of money on these Disney Plus shows, especially the Star Wars ones. They're like $250 million to do Andor. I think Andor was like 250 million.
Wow.
So I think with a big budget like this, will be visually good, but me personally, I hope they rely more on the storytelling for the kids, like the kids' story. Give us more of a background, something like they did with Rocky and the Boom studio comics, where you got more background of the characters and they felt more relatable because you felt their everyday struggles. Something like the episode you was talking about with Kat, where she was dealing with some of the things that teenage girls deal with and exploring stuff like that. I think
it'd be also cool to see them if they did something like, in the 2017 movie, they insinuated that Rita was the Green Ranger and Zordon was the Red Ranger. I would like to see something like that, like a prequel of like how the Rangers even started. That would be really cool too.
Yeah, and man, the more you say it, the more I get mad that we didn't get a sequel to that 2017 film. Come on, they gave us Tommy at
They
the
gave you
end.
Tommy at the end. I know.
Oh man, such a missed opportunity. But that's what everybody gets. Everybody felt some type of way about the movie. Review bombed it, and now look, now everybody's wishing they could go back and get that sequel, and now it's a little too late. But I did watch an interview with the late great JDF, right? And he said something like he would like to see an anime of Power Rangers. He would like to see, not a continuation, because he felt like making a reboot of a reboot of a reboot would be a little too much, which they're actually doing. And he is right. You got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and you got the 2017. This will be the third time that they're rebooting this iteration of the Power Rangers. So if they was to make an anime, would you ever want to come back to play Cat in an animation project?
Oh, I would love to. Absolutely. Yeah. I love doing voiceover stuff. And I think they would have a lot more, they could create a lot more, a bigger, even bigger world like they have with the comics. I love what they've done with the comics. It's kind of opened up all these new dimensions. And I think that it would be really fun to be a part of something like that.
And I love something that you said in this interview. You said something about they insinuated it in Zeo that Tommy Oliver and Kat had a son. I would love them to explore something like that, or just the future of those core members and a
Yeah.
more updated version. I think that would hit on all cylinders. But this has come to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, I have one more question for you, which is a universal question that I ask all my guests when they come on here. Who are your top 5 fictional characters of all time? You can go books, series, movies, video games. Who are your top 5 fictional characters of all time?
My goodness. That's a big question. Okay. Let me think about this. I loved She-Ra, He-Man and She-Ra. That was like a big one for me when I was growing up. I loved Sandy from Grease.
Oh, okay.
Yep, she was my hero growing up. I used to dress like her. Um, I love Harry Potter. So
How do you feel about the reboot? Did you see the new cast?
No, they're doing another one.
Yeah, on HBO. It's a series. And they
Oh,
already
I'm
announced
so
the cast. They look
excited.
really young, man. They went like,
Yeah.
these kids look like 13, 14. I'm not even gonna lie. They look
Wow.
really, really young. I'm surprised how young they went with this cast, this new cast.
Oh, wow. Um, and I love Game of Thrones, so I would have to say Khaleesi is up there for me as a fiction.
Okay, let's go. You excited for season 3 of House of the Dragons?
House of the Dragon, yes, I liked the second season. The first one was too dark. I couldn't see. The lighting was so dark.
Ah,
And all the changes of the characters and stuff, but the second season was great. Yeah, so and then I can't think of anything. I mean, that's just like a world, isn't it? Huge world of Captain America. There we go. I'll just go.
hey, there we go. That's what's up. Okay,
I love
now
Cap.
before we let you go, are there any upcoming conventions or projects you're able to talk about? Because I know sometimes y'all, got NDAs and things like that in place. But are there any upcoming projects or conventions that you are able to speak about?
Yes, there's an animated series Jason Font and I worked on. I don't think I can say anything about it, but I'm playing a queen in it, which was really
Let's
fun.
go. So you're going into the voiceover world now.
Yes. I've been doing voiceover for a
Oh, you
while.
have? What's some of the projects you've been in?
I did a lot. You would hear me on a lot of toys. Like I did a lot of fairies and princesses for Mattel. And like there was a toy a lot of little girls loved called Password Journal. I did all the prompts on that toy. I did a couple of video games. I did the voice of Mira in Pitfall Harry, the first one. I've done just a bunch of monster voices, like all kinds of stuff.
You done monster voices?
Yeah, commercials. Yeah, lots of different things over the years.
Let's go. I didn't know that.
I would love to do like a series or something, but it's a hard business to crack into. Anyway, so that, and then writing. I've written a children's book, which I just reconfigured, and I'm trying to get illustrators for another 2 that I've written. Power Rangers playback and conventions keeps me really busy. And then I've kind of dipped my toe back into the acting world again. So I have a manager and I'm starting to audition again, which is so crazy after all these years. But I like to have variety in my life. I have a lot of different things going on all the time.
I was so excited for you, man. I'm definitely going to be following you on Instagram. Heroes, if you're not following on Instagram, link will be in the description. Let people know where to find you at.
Catherine_Sutherland on Instagram. I don't really use Facebook much, so Instagram's really the best place to catch me. We also have a Power Rangers Playback Instagram page. I'm pretty active on Instagram, so if you message me and stuff, I usually try my best to respond to people. And then I have a website, catherinesutherland.biz, and we have a Power Rangers Playback website as well. And I usually post where I'm going to be, like with conventions and all that stuff, or what my latest things are that I have going on. So.
And we will be staying up to date with you, Catherine. Thank you so much for coming by. Heroes, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget, we're giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at our next milestone of 5K. Y'all have been awesome, because this is a fairly new podcast, but y'all have been giving us that lift that we needed. So we're giving it back to you. And don't forget to love yourself, pass that love on, and love others. And if nobody told you so, just know your boy love you. Until next time, Voice of the Heroes.
Saying it with me.